We're going?
Yeah, over to you.
All right, good stuff, good stuff. So my name's Chris Elder, and it is fantastic to be doing this. I mean, we're still kicking and we're still doing this, and it's pretty amazing. This is about my 10th go-round in the last 2 weeks. So myself, obviously, I've worked with Stockton Lego many times before as a presenter, and I've gone from I had about 50 gigs lined up for the year to 0 in a matter of about 3 days, and now they're all coming back visually and virtually, and they're all up in the air and going to land sort of later in the year. But so this is about my 10th virtual conference with real estate companies, so this is pretty cool. Charlotte, you're there? You can hear me? What I was going to say too, just for anybody, if they want to go ahead and send me a question at any point, I'll deal with that. So, I mean, I want this to be interactive. You know, again, that's, I think, one of the advantages of this is, you know, anytime, you know, we can address any questions people have if they want to send them through. If they want to grab your attention or whatever, Charlotte, I'm happy to deal with anything sort of specific as part of this too. So I find that's one of the nice sort of things about this is that we can sort of interact together. So sounds good? We're okay?
Yeah, so do you want them just to pop down a little chat to everyone and then that will pop up so you can see it? Or do you want it to be specifically to you? Or how do you want to run that, Chris? What's the best way for you?
So what do you want to do, just chat?
Yeah, do chat.
Yeah, maybe just chat. That'd be good. I think if they just send me something through the chat, just put your questions. I'll just type that in, put your questions here.
So for anyone who hasn't used Zoom very much before, down the bottom you've got a little chat box. Chris has just popped it up, so it should have highlighted orange on your screen. So if you've got any questions down there, just fill it into the chat box.
Cool. All right, good. All right, and look, I've got a little whiteboard here. Right, so, you know, we can talk about all sorts of different things. And idea number one today is we're going to have a useful response to bad news. And we're going to talk a little bit about the brain just to get started with. So obviously, I've had a chance to present to audiences for the last 18 years. I've been a speaker. I've done over 2,500 presentations all over the world and talked to real estate agents all over the United States, all over Australia, and it is awesome. I've worked at Stockton Lego many, many times. And Charlotte and I, we go way back to Jealous Craig days as well. So anyway, terrific. So with this today, I'm going to talk a little bit about, obviously we're in unprecedented times. Everybody says that, blah, blah, blah. We're in, you know, remarkable times. We're in actually quite unbelievable times. And, you know, you wake up every day and you can't even believe we're going through this. And sometimes I wake up actually literally and first thing in the morning, I think this isn't really happening. And it is just a surreal experience to go through this. Having said that, you know, we've just heard from North Ringwood with the listing, we just heard from another guy who's sitting, he's going to sign one up. Life goes on. And I think that's really where I'm at right now, is that we really need to consider how it is that we're going to move forward in the midst of our reality. So here we go. Idea number one, have a useful response to bad news and know your brain has a filter called the reticular activating system. All right, so what does that mean? Every one of us has a brain that actually has a filter on it, and we take a look at how we interpret information through that reticular activating system. It is the single most important part of your brain when it comes to your personal success in real estate, in family life, in life. It is the number one thing that shows you what you see. Now, for years, I've called this the red Toyota theory, because the next time you drive to the supermarket, I can tell you what, you're going to drive there, and if you, well, you know what? You probably saw 0 red Toyotas the last time you did that. But if out of nowhere you decided to buy a red Toyota, you'd be like, guess what? You're going to start to see these things everywhere. They're popping. Red Toyota, red Toyota, red Toyota. That is your reticular activating system. It is dialed into red Toyotas. It is no different with success, and it is no different with negative news. I said we're going to have a useful response to bad news. And when I say that, here's how it works right now. You get news, right? And this works like stimulus, and we respond. Stimulus, response. Just to lose psychology, little stimulus, response. Every stimulus has a response. You get bad news, whether it be from our prime minister, whether it be from in that country that I used to live in, whether it be that president of the United States, whether it be data coming in about the death toll, whether it be, and again, the media is going to jump on this. The media hits us, bang. Then what happens is we move into panic mode. Panic mode leads directly to what I call chaos thinking. We cannot be in chaos thinking, right? And if you're taking notes, we cannot be in chaos thinking. Chaos thinking right now is what average people are going to do. And when I say that, most people are average. That's why they call them average. But here we go. When we talk about it, right, the great salespeople in the world, the great property managers in the world, the great leaders in the world, the great people in the world are not going to go stimulus, information news, panic, into chaos thinking. Instead, flip it. We get the news. The first thing we have to do is be conscious about how we feel. Now, listen, I'm not saying we're not getting bad news, and I'm not saying we're not getting really bad news. And the fact of the matter is we're going to get a whole bunch more bad news. I'm not saying we don't have reality. And we're going to talk about reality, but we're going to talk about your ability to control the reality. So what are we saying? Bad news, boom, you're in to be conscious. And your conscious thinking leads you to this question right here. What is my most useful response to the situation? And that's what great people do. That's not what average people do. Average people panic. And lower than average people for sure panic. Right? That's what the lowest common denominator is going to do. The lowest common denominator was hoarding toilet paper. The lowest common denominator is not going to succeed in this industry, full stop. They're not. So again, stimulus, we get some person telling us everything's happening. We think, how does this make me feel? I'm conscious. And from that point on, I look at it and go, what's my most useful response right now? Now, again, I've talked for years. You guys probably know this. Those of you that see me speak know I talk about this. Positive thinking doesn't work. Emotion doesn't work. Positive thinking does not work. Bang, forget about positive thinking. If I walked up to you right now and said, come on, just be positive, real estate agents. Just be positive. Just try to be positive. What would you want to do to me right now? Boom, again, there it is with the Stuckey's violence, right? You're not going to, it's not about positive. It's nothing about positive. Forget positive. And forget negative. You know those people, that's not going to help you. Both positive and negative are emotional. All I'm asking you to think usefully. Useful. Stimulus happens. You're going to get news. How does this make me feel? I feel afraid. That's okay. What's my most useful response of being afraid? How am I going to deal with this? I hear that news and I go, wow, this makes me feel a little bit like I'm not so sure that I can do this. Okay, well, hang on. Now what's our most useful response to deal with that, right? As opposed to panic and as opposed to chaos thinking. We've got to stay clear. The number one thing that scares people right now is control. The number one thing that is scaring people is the loss of control. That's what terrifies all of us. We get terrified when we lose control of any situation. And what terrifies us right now is the lack of control. So, how do we take control? We get the information. That information, we're conscious. How does this make me feel? And now what's my most useful response? No chaos thinking across the board. All right, that's idea number one for me. Idea number one for me. And we start thinking about this across how it is that we're thinking and how it is that we're dealing with adversity. Idea number two is that we're going to have a useful belief about our business. Now, those of you who know me know that I wrote the book. Idea number two is useful belief. So we got useful response and now useful belief. And when I say this, again, I've talked about our brain for years and years and years about how it is that we look at the world. And we look at the world fundamentally, either usefully or a lot of people look at things in terms of tough times. Now, I'm not saying these aren't difficult times. These are challenging times. And again, bad things are going to happen to good people. And I'm going to hit this straight away. Just so we're all on the same page, just so everybody knows what I'm talking about here, just so we all know about the world today, the survival rate on this planet is exactly 0%. None of us are getting out of here alive, right? Now, I say that to empower you, knowing that you're going to be nothing more than a paragraph on Ancestry.com in 100 years' time. And here's what I'm talking about, right? This is 2020, and this is the challenge we're in. And this is our situation right now. And we're in control of our brain and how it works. What do I mean? Because I'm hearing people all the time right now going, I wish it wasn't 2020. I wish it was 2017. They were good times. I wish it was 2007, before the global financial crisis. They were good times. I wish it was 98. I could smoke at my desk. I love 98. I could smoke at my desk. You know what? You can smoke at your desk again. Congratulations. But here's the thing. It's not 98. It's not 2007. It's not 2007. It's not 2017. And I got to tell you, we're right now in 2020, and this is our time. What are you going to do with the time that we've got? Have a useful belief. This is, in fact, a very exciting time to be a part of the real estate industry. Because what you do now and what you learn about now is going to affect how you come through the other side of this. So let's talk about a couple of those things. First of all, Anthony, I'd like to make a comment. He's made a comment here that I'm a good-looking bloke. And Anthony, I would just like to say thank you very much, man. Back at you, brother. And I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. You know what? We all think about this time right now. What should we be doing? How should we be spending our time? Useful belief right now. I think when we talk about having a useful belief right now, I think there are some useful beliefs that are out there right now. And my first one I want to start with is this is day one of the rest of your life. And I say this is day one of the rest of your life. You know what? There are people listening to this right now who could actually think to themselves, you know what's interesting is I've been a little bit of a half-assed agent, right? And I've done it pretty well, but I've had my moments. I've had my moments that I've been a little lazy. And you know what? 6 months from now, you could walk up to me and say this. I got to tell you something, Chris. You could say this. Coronavirus changed everything for me. And I'll tell you why. Because before coronavirus, I think I was just doing the doing. Just sort of going through the motions.
Anthony, I've got no volume.
Oh, hang on. Can you hear it? Charlotte?
Oh, sorry.
I can hear you. That's all right.
Mary, if you just mute your screen.
Welcome to the show. This is good. This is good. No problem with interruptions. No problem with interruptions. This would be the thing, though. Be interesting. Be interesting to come up to me in 6 months' time and say, you know what? Boom. Coronavirus woke my ass up. Coronavirus woke me up. You know what? As soon as I got through that, I got to tell you, I just worked this thing out differently. I'm actually thinking differently. I'm more excited, more passionate about it. This will not last forever, right? That's number two. Useful belief, number two. This will not last forever. It's not going to last forever. So here's what we're doing now. We're talking to everybody. Talk to every client you got. Now, I bought a house. I just bought a house from Marshall White, and I bought a house in Kew from Marshall White. You know what? I've had 3 calls from the Tosterman family, 1 from Charlie, 2 from James in the last 2 weeks. You know what? 2 of them were congratulations calls. That's it, just checking in. How am I doing? They want to know how my business was going. We start thinking about how it is that we're going through. Now's the time just to talk to people. Find out, because there's 2 kinds of people out there. There's people that are going to take action and people that are not. Neither one. By the way, both of them are okay. Because you know what? This is the time to contact people. If you meet someone who's actually ready to transact, and I'll tell you why they would. I'll tell you why they would, because we're going to get through this thing at the other side. There's going to be huge opportunities to buy right now. So you know what? There's no reason in the world somebody wouldn't buy and sell in the same market. There's also no reason in the world somebody wouldn't buy and try to pick the eyes out of this market. So there's opportunities out there. The other kind of person, by the way, is a person who's going, there's no chance I'm gonna act in this marketplace. Both those things are absolutely 100% completely okay. The question is, are we talking to enough people? Are we talking to everybody? By the way, ask them about themselves. Ask them about what's going on. This is your time to find out how they finding about homeschooling. How are they going to find about that? I said, for God's sakes, here we are. I got people posting on my Instagram about their amazing motherhood and fatherhood. I'm watching people literally run classrooms. I took my year 11 kid and I suspended him for the last week at school for bad behavior, just because I thought, geez, maybe the school can pick this up. But you know what? We start thinking about homeschool, all this stuff. You know what? Here we go. Right now is the time to be talking to people, and we need to be talking to people and identifying people around this information. Around this information and getting to know people. We can get to know people, and this is the time as we call everybody. And idea number 3 today, idea number 3 is to get on the phone and talk about people in terms of their FOR. That is family, occupation, relax. In other words, this is our chance to find out what's his name, what's her name, right? What are they doing? What's the kids? What are they doing? Right? Occupation, what work does she do? What work does she do? Right? What schools do the kids go to? How are they finding this situation? And what they like to do to relax, what they do in their free time. Family, occupation, relax. What they do in their free time, what football team do they bat for? How have they found footy in this day and age? Are they missing the footy? What's going on? You know, how are they going to handle their holidays? And we're in a situation now where every single phone call, people are going to be answering their phone. People are going to be answering their phone. You know the biggest thing right now? I mean, here we've been, nobody answers their phone. Nobody's been answering their phone for a year. I get my phone, I get my calls, just three kinds of calls that come through. The first call comes to me from a 03-8865-2211. I still don't answer that call because I figure it's junk, right? But I'll tell you what, in the past, I get a call from 0421-650-334. I mean, sometimes I used to look at that and I'd be on the road and I'd be like, screw it, I'm not answering that, too busy, right? And sometimes it would say Charlotte. And when it said Charlotte, I would answer because I would know who it was. Now, but here's the thing I'm doing now. And maybe you're the same, maybe you're not, but maybe you are. The thing is all of a sudden, I'm getting that mobile call. And I'm looking at it going, I got nothing else to do. Click. G'day. Chris speaking. How you going? And guess what? I'm talking to people. I don't even know who it is. I haven't answered my phone in a year. But guess what? We're all got a little bit more time on our hands than we had. So here's the thing. This is the time to call. People are going to answer their phone. It's either that or they can talk to their husbands. What do you think they're going to do? It's either that or they're going to talk to their wives, right? That's going to run short. Let's get down. This is the time to call people. This is it. There has never been a better time in the history of real estate to make phone calls, ever, right? And what are we trying to find? The FOR. That's what we're trying to get. Just talk to people. This is the art of conversation. This is the art of virtual coffee. This is the art of cocktail party excellence. Straight down the line, FOR, never have to think again. Now, by the way, when I get stuck in conversations with people that I don't want to talk to, I can tell you this, FOR gets me out every time. I think to myself, for every time, right? Just to get my head right. And I'm asking those questions and cycling through. Make no mistake about it. This is 8 hours a day on the phone right now. Why not? This is the time to call people. And I can tell you already, I just had 3 calls from the Tosterman family. 1 from Charlie, 2 from James, as I said, right? The best agents in the world, guess what? They're on the phone, right? They're on the phone. So congratulations. This is what we can start thinking about doing. All right, now with this, we got stuff happening. How we respond to that stuff makes all the difference in the world. We've also got a useful belief about the world, and that right now our job is to talk to as many people as possible. Now, when I look at this and I talk about this, I want to talk about idea number 4, and I want to hit you with this, and these are, by the way, what I call the circles of influence, all right? And I want us all to think about right now, we can think a little bit about all these circles and how these circles are influenced in today's society and what we're actually doing. So I'll put these together. Here we go. We got 6 of them. We got 6 of them. Here they are. These are the circles of influence right here. There are 6. They are family, number 1. Number 2, work. And by the way, we'll talk a little bit about this. Number 3, friends. And you can still connect with friends. Number 4, health. We're going to talk about this one. Number 5, me time. All right, this is critical right now. This is critical. Number 6, community. All right, let's get into these circles of influence and talk a little bit about that. Now, the reason I want to bring this up now, and again, recapping, how we respond to stimulus is up to us. We're in control. Useful response. Useful belief about the world and about what we're going through. And I'm not saying we're not going to have tragedy. We are. Right now, we're communicating with as many people as we possibly can, and we're identifying the FOR information with each of those people. Now, with these 6 areas, our 4th idea is the 6 areas of influence of life. And those ideas really, we take a look at number 1, family. Useful belief around family. And when I set my goals, and I sit down, and I would imagine right now, for all of us, we're sitting down and reassessing what's important. And I think some of that's really cool, actually. I'm reassessing what's important. I'm actually, Charlotte, I got to tell you, I'm really excited about this. I mean, we've just smashed out 30 minutes already on this phone call. And, you know, it's amazing to think about this as an opportunity for all of us to reconsider this. I mean, how come we haven't done this before, Charlotte? This is easy. And, you know, it is impactful. And, you know, when we all come together, I got to say, sometimes, you know, I could be a little crazed too about making sure everybody's paying attention. And with this, I'm a little less concerned. You know, I know a couple of you may just, you know, check your phone again. It's a little bit more casual. I'm happy for anyone to send me a question. And, you know, but you know what, right now, the first idea here is family. We're looking at things changing right now. People are reassessing their lives. And this is a great time right now to think about your family. Great time. This morning, I spent my morning doing a little grocery shopping, and then I dropped some stuff off for my mother-in-law who's in isolation. And that's not a terrible thing to put your mother-in-law in isolation. I think there's probably a lot of people here who'd like to have their mothers-in-law in isolation, just across the board. But you know what? As we think about our family, this is the time for us to spend time with our kids. Spend more time, spend more quality time, spend more quality time as a couple. And you know what? It is going to be an interesting thing. I think these Corona kids are going to be a real thing. I mean, I think we're going to have more Corona kids in about 10 months' time. And you know what? The divorce lawyers might be busy as well. It might go both ways. Actually, it might. You're probably going one of two ways here. But as you set your goals and as you set your situations around your family, sit down with number one and think about what do you want to do. And when I was thinking about this, and I've been talking to people, I think people who are doing isolation better than others are actually doing it from a place of routine. And I think creating routine around family, like there's a time that you will go for a walk, there's a time that you walk the dog, there's a time that you sit down and watch a movie together. And I think in this time of isolation, I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to gain a lot in terms of their relationship with the people they love the most. And that's why we bust our ass in real estate anyway, you know? I mean, it's like you work your butt off in real estate, and you know, how many people work their butt off in real estate only to give 70% of it away in the divorce? It's like, you know, it's not, this is the time to come together and think about, you know, what are your goals around that? Either way, whatever that turns out to be. Number two is work. Now, a lot of people have just pushed the pause button on work. And I want to say this. I am increasingly excited about working through the coronavirus. Now, I know that sounds a little bit nuts, but again, I want you to know something. Last year, I did 176 presentations, and I rode on 110 airplanes. 110 nights in a hotel. I was on, you know, I think I went overseas 13 times. This year, not so much. You know what? I think when it comes to work, I think, you know, there was all those gigs, and overnight, I watched 50 gigs just blow up, bang, in a matter of 3 days. And now we're here, and I'm looking at it going, you know what? This is the new reality. And whatever your reality is around work, I think right now is the time to embrace that reality. Now, there's going to be people that leave real estate. That's okay. I can tell you what, there's going to be a shitload of speakers that are going to be gone, right? I'll tell you, the cream is going to rise to the top. Any of those average, anybody beating their chest, you know, just talking about what they're talking about, see you later, goodbye. Because I'll tell you what, you're either good at this job or you're not. And I think when we think about our job and how we're going to go and do this, for you to think about what's the most important thing for you to do during this time. Talking to as many people as possible, identifying where opportunities are, talking to other good agents, really getting connected around mentorship right now, getting connected around some peer coaching. Who's the best person at Stockdale Lego that you can think of, or another brand for that matter? Get on the phone to them, keep each other accountable. This level of routine and accountability is crucial, is critical. Having a process is crucial and critical. And you know, it is amazing to me. You can look at the top 50 agents as ranked, right? 47 of them are process people, right? And you take a look at it and go, boom, boom, boom. Real estate success is about having process and following the process. So what do we have to do now? Yeah, we got to create a new process. Maybe we got to create something that's a little different than what we've done. That's okay. That's about being able to pivot. That's about being able to adapt. And you know what? Yeah, not as many people are going to transact. And you know what? Charlotte can tell you, I'm making about 1/8 of what I normally make doing this as opposed to being face to face, right? It's going to hurt all of us, right? That's okay, right?
And I
Because
will
we're gonna,
say, I just want to interrupt and say, I can guarantee Chris is actually doing this almost out of the goodness of his heart. So thank you very much. And that's true.
Oh,
That's
there
true.
you go.
He pivoted a very long way for us.
You know what? I don't think now's the time to be. Now's the time, certainly not to be seen to be capitalizing on anything. And I think that's a really good message too. Actually, I think when you're making we actually had time the other day, Charlotte. We spoke for about 45 minutes. And, there we are talking, and we brought back a conference we did together in Byron. How many years ago was that? 12, 10, 15, 12 maybe. And you know what? And this is the chance, though, to have those phone conversations. This is the chance to have those conversations. And again, if I panic, I go into chaos thinking, and my work all of a sudden, I get desperate. To quote my good friend Tom Panos, you have commission breath. And if you have commission breath, at the end of the day, no one's going to want to talk to you. This is about you helping people, advising people, right? Educating people, helping them to understand what's going on in the real estate market, helping them to understand what's happening for you, talking to them a little bit about what's going on in real estate. And I think that'll be really cool for a lot of people. Routine, process, have a plan every day that combines work and combines family. And we talked about these too. I am not a believer that there's something called a work-life balance. I don't believe in a work-life balance. I believe in a work-life swing. And there are times Penny, people can see you crawling across the floor. Penny, you just stand up. Penny, you can just stand up. Everyone, this is my assistant, Penny, and she's crawling across the floor to get the door closed because we got noise outside. So that's effort. That's what else you need right now is a great PA. That's what you need right now. Everybody needs an amazing PA that's willing to crawl through and make things happen. That's a metaphor right there for the sort of PA you want. You're like crawling through the mire to make things happen. You know what? As we are all here, I really think it's a swing. It's not a balance. And I think over this time, we get a chance to spend a little bit more time with our family. And then when you go to work, don't be working in front of everybody else. Get yourself a space in the house. Get yourself a place in the house, right? Get yourself a place you can go that you can actually work and create and call and have some ability to make an impact out there. Number 3 is friends. This is huge right now. And I think when we take a look at the goals that we want to set going forward into this year, I want to say a couple things about friends. First of all, I find women are amazing at this, and women are so much better at this than men. And so there's a couple things. I'm an ambassador for survivors of suicide, and there's going to be some massive mental health stuff that is going to go on because there's going to be loss, there's going to be pain, and we've identified that. And not everybody is going to be in a position to be able to go, how am I feeling and what's a useful response? I think other people are going to be in panic situation and they are going to move to chaos thinking. And when you move to chaos thinking, it's very easy to all of a sudden blame yourself and become very critical. So this is an important time. First of all, I want everybody to connect with their friends. This is such an important time. We're all going through this. Nobody's alone. Nobody's alone. And I throw this out there. Anybody that's talked to Allegro, anybody listening right now, you want to throw me a message, throw me a message. You can send it to me on Instagram. You can send it through my website. You can email our office. You want to have a phone call, give me a call. And whatever you need, at the end of the day, we need to be able to communicate with people. We need to be able to talk, and we're all going through stuff. Everybody's going through things now. And I think we're all seeing that network of community coming together already. Continue with your friends. Do this virtually with your friends. Get on the phone to your friends. And again, social media has probably never been kinder and funnier to watch. There's so much creativity out there. It's pretty cool. But men, I want to say to men too, listen, there's a lot of guys, and I'm talking to a lot of men right now who are already feeling like, whoa, we got no income coming in. and I'm absolutely in panic mode, and hey, we got to communicate. We got to talk. Everybody's going through this, and I just want, I want to send that message out to men, not to hold it in. Vulnerability is okay right now, and vulnerability is okay when things are tough, right? There's no sensible that we have to one up each other or be in different situations. Now's the time for vulnerability in the real estate industry. Now's the time for vulnerability, and I just want to shout out to manhood for a second, right? This is not the time to beat your chest. This is the time to talk to people and ask them if they're okay. And this is the time to help each other, especially in an industry like real estate right now. So again, 3 things right now. We think about our family. We got some useful beliefs around that. Work. We're going to put some useful patterns and processes into place to make sure we're disciplined in what we're going through. Friends, make sure that you're connecting with other people and connecting right in a way that's going to give you a sense of community, a sense of belonging to a group of people that are also struggling, and at the same time, find out what's working. Find out what other different people are doing, and that's actually connecting. Number 4 is health. No question about it in our circles of influence. The 4th one is health, and I think here's a useful belief. This is the best time in the history of the world to get fit. And this is the best time in the history of the world to eat chocolate and drink copious amounts of wine too. But having said that, these are choices we can make, and these are controls that we can have. And I think when we talk about it, what are your fitness goals for the next 6 months? This is, I mean, you've got time. You've got time. And if you want to do it, and for me, I don't tell anybody to do anything. I'm throwing ideas out there, whatever sticks for you, take it. Think about how you want to go through time. But, I just think with health right now, this is the time. We can still run, so while we can still do that, you want to make sure you get out to the park, walk the dog, do what you're doing. I'm moving into the new house, and we've set up a home gym now. I got the gym almost set up. It's gonna be, it's just cool. It's gonna be great. So what are you doing around, what are you doing around the fitness, around the health? I mean, this is a great time to utilize that, and probably a great time to, again, get some aloneness, which brings me to the 5th point, which is me time. And I want to talk a little bit about me time, actually, because I think there are people right now whose lives are completely different. Real estate agents are used to working from an office like 50, 60 hours a week, right? You're out and open for inspections, you're out at auctions. All of a sudden you're virtual and you're doing things from home, and you're with your kids, and you're with your parents, you're with your family, you're with your partner. This is such a critical time to make sure that we're identifying a little bit of time for yourself. What does that look like? It's stuff like this, by the way. I'd be looking to do these types of things. Exercise probably crosses over. That's one. I'd be trying to do as many courses as you could possibly do. I'd be trying to listen to, some of the top speakers, and obviously Charlotte's putting all these great speakers together, so well done to that. I'd be thinking about some, you've got all these online exercise programs that you can set up. You've got online yoga, you've got whatever you need, meditation. I mean, we live in a world where we've got all this crazy stuff. And for me, I'm a walker, right? So that's like my favorite thing to do is walk the beach. And, all of a sudden I'm in a situation where I'm normally on the Gold Coast about 50 times a year, and I'm walking up and down the beach all the time. Now, I'm here in Melbourne. I can't really walk the beach, but I'm walking the parks and walking the neighborhood. And it's amazing how many things you see that you actually you don't even notice. And I got a new neighborhood that I'm walking around at the moment, and I'm loving it. So really cool, really just to think about your time. Don't feel like you have to spend 24 hours a day with the people in your house. You got to figure out a way to get some space and get away, so you've at least got a little bit of stuff that's just you. Podcasts, another one that I've spent a lot of time on. Podcast reading. I'm trying to listen to a little Joe Rogan. I've got listening to some different speakers, different things. Obviously YouTube's endless. And, without wasting time, I just want that dynamic about making sure you're looking after yourself. That combination of friends, health, and me time is about our mental health through this time. So again, as we look at setting some goals, set some goals around that me time to make sure you're looking after yourself. I want to have a rant for a second about me time, actually. Because the one thing I want us to be careful about is I want us to be careful about all the judgment out there. And I want to be careful about all the social media judgment and how, by the way, we take in information. And when I say that, I know there's people right now that are spending 18 hours a day watching coronavirus updates. I do not believe that is a useful way to spend your time. And I think at the end of the day, it will drive you batty, right? There are also people spending 18 hours a day on social media. And I don't also believe that's a useful way to spend your time. Now, nothing wrong with a little coronavirus update and nothing wrong with a little social media. But when we start thinking about, we are inundated every day with how people think we're supposed to look, how people think we're supposed to act, how we're supposed to be some version of Ryan Gosling or some version of Blake Lively. It's not fair. And I just want to say that it's not fair. We're all competing against some crap airbrushing situation, right? We're told how to eat and they change their mind about this every day. You know what I was thinking about the other day? I was thinking about that we listen to people all the time who don't know anything about anything. And we listen to a lot of people tell us how to be all the time. And here's it's like eggs. Can I talk about eggs for a second? What's with eggs, right? I mean, what is the verdict on eggs? We are supposedly have the greatest scientists in the world, and we can't decide about eggs? What is the deal? I remember they were really good for you. They were like on that little food pyramid, right? You were supposed to eat eggs all the time. Then it was like, no eggs, boom. Then you had to pick the little yellow bit out of the egg and eat the shitty stuff that's left, right? Now we're back. Are we back on eggs? Are we off eggs, right? The 1 egg a year. Look, this is unbelievable. Every day we're getting different advice. And right now, if you're sitting around just watching this, listening to the coronavirus, you're going to be inundated with noise, and that noise is going to disrupt you from doing what's actually important. Every day, how we're supposed to look, how we're supposed to act. I mean, eating's unbelievable, actually. Do you remember, there was a time where I was like, just eat protein, just eat meat, just eat meat, eat like the caveman, they said. Do you remember that? Eat like the caveman. Why? They lived to be 32, right? Why would we live? Why? And then it was fruit. Everyone was like juicers. Do you remember like Australia? We bought like, everybody in Australia bought like a juicer. It was like 2 million juicers got sold in Australia. Everybody's like drinking juice diet. Then sugar was bad. That was the problem for the juice. That was it. We got off the sugar, right? Got off the sugar. And then it was like, oh, I was always taught, have a good breakfast. You'll have a good day. No, not now. Not now. You're supposed to stop eating at 6 p.m. Do not eat again for an 18-hour starvation period of time until 12 noon the next day. Eat for 5 days, they say. Starve for 2. I don't know. They had me putting I was in something called ketones. They were having me put butter in my coffee. What the hell? Look, every day is something different. And every day is noise and people telling me how to be. And you know what's important right now? We need to decide useful for you to get through this. It's family, right? To get through this. It's work. To get through this. It's friends. To get through this. It's your health. To get through this. It's me time. And number 6, community. And, to Charlotte's point, I think now's the time to give. Time to give. It's time to give and give and give and give. And that's going to come back. This is a karma test right now. And you know what? I'm busting my butt trying to just get out there and help as many people as I possibly can, just with their mindset to get through this time. We're all going through it. We're all going through it. And again, I'm just posting little videos and little different things. And obviously my book actually launched yesterday, and it's probably a good time to give that a plug, Charlotte, isn't it? Just a little shameless plug. But I want to do something. I want to do something for Stockdale Lego because on the giving front. The book's called The Simple Shift, and it's my favorite stuff to talk about in 18 years of being a speaker. This is my absolute favorite. It's a little book. It takes 1 hour to read, and it's my favorite stuff to talk about ever. And I'm launching this book right now, but here's what I want to do. First 10 emails we get, Penny. All right, so email at chrishelder.com. Charlotte, if they can't remember that, it's Chris Helder, and they have to add .com. All right, this is some high-tech stuff here, all right? chrishelder.com will get you there. First 10 people to send you an email to say, I want Chris's book, right? First 10, they got to work for Stockdale Lego, though. Is that cool? First 10, Penny's going to send you a book, all right? That's it. So there we go. First 10 to send through a free book from me, I'll sign it, and I'll send it off to you. So, again, as we think about a little bit there for that. Community, what is it going to look like for you? What are the things that you want to do in these areas? And, and thank you, Anthony's back, by the way, with, and I'm loving the comments, and I cannot believe it took you so long to plug the book. That is so cool. I love it. I think that is fantastic. I'm open, by the way, for any questions, for any comments, or any outright abuse. Penny, we're happy with outright abuse as well. So that is absolutely fine. So shoot me through a question, shoot me through a comment. Love to, and I'm happy to address anything along the way. All right, as we go through this, I want us just to think, and I suppose as I move on, those 6 circles, those 6 things, really can form the basis of your goal setting in this period of time. And I think they can really think about how it is that you go through things, and how it is that you can decide how you're going to spend your time and how you're going to break up your time. Fifth thing I'm going to talk about today is called the mind-body loop, and that's number 5, mind-body loop. And the mind-body loop is, I think right now, what's so important for all of us is physically how we're handling ourselves. And I say this, what the mind harbors, useful belief, useful response, right? What the mind harbors in terms of what we're talking about here, how you think affects our body and how we move. How we move affects how we think. It's such an important thing right now to get out of the house, go for a walk while we can, right? It's so important to physically figure out a way to move your body. I don't care if you're doing 1,000 push-ups a day, right? Or whether you're walking, right? Or whether you're running, or whether you got a treadmill and you're gonna run, or whether you skip and rope in the backyard. How our mind and our body work together is so important right now. Because our ability, what the mind harbors, the body manifests, right? How you think affects how you move. How you move affects how you think. And this connection to come together and be a part of this and get connected to what you're doing. So here we go. Here's a couple of mind-body loop things. First one is posture. We've got to have posture. Boom. I want you to think about walking through the house. And you know what's so awesome? I can see people, Charlotte. And as soon as I said posture, right? It is, I can't tell you how many people, across the screen, people are like, whoa, it's so cool. I got people sitting right up. But we think about this, how we move every day. Like, again, getting ourselves in a physical space and not dragging ourselves through. Get routine. Don't sleep till 9:30. Figure out yourself a situation, get up, get moving, and again, get your body in action, right? Posture and presence. Now, this is the second thing. I know where you get distracted every day, right? And I know right now, these things are going to consume more than they normally do, right? And they just take us over. But I really am going to challenge everybody around being present, because now's the time. Posture, presence. If you're on the phone, posture and presence. Posture, presence. Boom. If you're talking to your kid, don't talk to them from boom here, right? Get down on their level. Get down on their level and connect. Posture, presence. Be present. We are so distracted as a people, as a society, right? As a community. We're distracted all the time. Don't be distracted in this market. If you get on the phone, be present on the phone. And you know what? I was talking to a friend the other day, and obviously I was boring them. I don't know. But I could hear them click, 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 tip, up, 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 and they were texting. And they could hear it because they had their sound thing on, right? And there I was like, hey, oh, hang on. Either text or talk to me, one of the two. Right? Now, again, I know right now there's people who listen to this. They're like, Chris, I'm the multitasker of all time. I'm the greatest multitasker in the entire history of the world. Well, congratulations. I'm glad you are. But all the studies show something different. That when you're focused and you're actually present, you're actually more effective. So don't lose the fact that we still can be effective. Posture, presence. Posture, presence. Now, we're having all these virtual meetings. Don't forget about this one right here. Ding, to smile. Don't forget to smile. Now, when I say this, it is amazing. If I'm calling out right now and I go, hey guys, it's Chris Elder here. Just want a virtual coffee with you. Man, things are tough, man. Things are tough. These are tough times, man. Right? I just want to send you the message that the market's not very good. Right? No, this is not going to help you grow your business. You got to decide what sort of message you're going to send. You got to deliver it. People want to deal with energy. Well, let me ask this. How many people believe energy is a part of my business plan? Energy is a part of my business plan, right? And this is pretty cool because if you want to smile more, have more energy. It's that simple. Well, let me give you a useful belief. In fact, you know what? If this was the only thing you took away from my whole talk, if this was the only thing you took away, your life will change. This is it right here. Here's a mind-body loop, useful belief. Energy is a decision. It's a choice. And through this time, you can have as much energy as you want. Now, make no mistake about it, most people are tired. Most people are exhausted. And when they get sad, they get more tired. Sad people are tired, right? Sad people are exhausted. So how do you have more energy, right? Even, look at this. By the way, you can just practice. You want to get sad? Because I know sometimes there's people out here like, Chris, I've been sad my whole life. I'm sad and I'm angry. I'm angry and I'm jaded. I'm jaded and I'm cynical. I'm twisted and I'm frustrated. Now, if that's you, by the way, all right, first of all, you're like, I'm not changing, Chris. I'm going to stay twisted, jaded, right, and angry because I enjoy my melancholy. I enjoy it. All right, well, if that's you, all right, fine. All right, I'm not here to change it, all right, but just first of all, get good at a couple things. Don't do any of the things I'm talking about right now. I want you to slump, right? Just slump, right? And get some stupid look on your face. That'll help as well, right? Just slump, get a stupid look on your face. Don't look at anybody, and just get totally distracted into your phone, right? That's it. Get distracted into your phone and be tired. Just be tired all the time. Boy, you're a catch, aren't you? Now you're a catch. Right now, people are wanting to hang out with you. And then I want you to think about all the tough times, how these are tough, tough times. Right? In fact, you know what? Actually, what will help you, I do want you to watch like 18 hours of news a day. That will help you, right? Just OD yourself on some Georgie and some Lisa Wilkinson. Get OD'd on some Carl Stefanovic. Just get yourself dialed in today, tonight. Naomi, Current Affair, well, I can't remember which one they're on. Anyway, that'll really take you down the rabbit hole. You'll really realize the world is falling apart. I mean, yesterday, all the news was one person. And with all due respect to that one person that passed away, this person was 95 years old, right? Now, that's awesome. That would have made her the oldest living person in the history of the Helder family. She would have been the oldest person by about 10 years of anybody with the last name of Helder who ever lived on the earth, right? So, you know what, I'm sad for her, but at the same time, congratulations on an excellent life at 95. You know what, we start thinking about, if I just tune in to just the noise, right? And all there, I'm gonna believe these are tough times and it's gonna incapacitate myself to be able to make a difference. It's gonna incapacitate me from being able to make a phone call that's got meaning. It's going to incapacitate me from affecting other people and making a difference because I'm going to be so focused on the one person yesterday out of the 15 million people that live on the East Coast or the 7 million people that live in Victoria, right? I start thinking about, hang on a second, right? Let's focus on all the impact that we can have. And don't forget, I know, survival rate is 0%. I got it. Well, none of us are getting out of here alive. We said that, right? I mean, this is our time. This is your time to make a difference. This is your time to educate people about property, and this is where we're at. All right, so that being said, energy is a choice. You can have as much as you want, right? Now, again, I'm proud of a couple things, Charlotte, and you saw me speak 12 years ago, and 18 years ago, I've been, I started this up, and I've done over 2,500 presentations, and I'm proud of a couple things. I've never had a sick day, not one time in 18 years, never. Not one time have I had a sick day in 18 years. And now I'll never have to have a sick day because, now I can sit here on the computer. This is guaranteed. But here's the second thing. I've never, ever, virtual or real, ever showed up without an abundance of energy. Energy is a choice, and you can have as much energy as you want. Energy is a decision. And right now, what you need is energy to set this all up. All the things we're talking about, it takes energy when you get stimulus, right? In other words, bad information, negative stuff, right? To not panic and go into chaos thinking, but instead to actually think, be conscious, and have a useful response takes energy, right? Energy is a choice. To have a useful belief about the world takes energy because it's easier just to think that it's all hard. And real estate's hard, and it's too hard, right? It's just impossible right now. And we just heard it's not impossible. We've just heard to start our day here, to start our session. Listing in North Ringwood. Sale coming through, boom, people talking about this stuff, right? So here we go, as we think about it. Anthony, by the way, wants his free book, and he doesn't know my emails. Anthony doesn't listen to directions. I want to just be clear about this here. He says, I want a book, please. What's the email? The directions were chrishelton.com. Wasn't that it? They could just go to the website, send an email. All right, can you make sure Anthony gets his book? All right, we want that to happen. All right, guys, energy is a choice. It takes energy to make a business plan around work. It takes energy to make a business plan around family and friends and health and me time and community. Energy is a choice, and you own that. You control that. No one can tell you. But the question I always get is this. People say this all the time. They ask me this question. They say, Chris, how do we get energy? And the answer is really, really simple. The answer is really simple. The answer is this. Get connected to your life. Get connected to your life. Because when you're connected to your life, you have energy. When we are disconnected from our life, we are tired. Get connected to your life. Question. Next question is obvious. Chris, how do I get connected to my life? Okay, good. Ready? Here we go. This is how you get connected to your life. With things you can't control or things you will not change, have a useful belief about them. All right, hang on. What are we talking about? We're talking about a mind-body loop, and we're talking about you have a reality. You have a reality right now. And I'm not saying it's easy. Nobody's saying this is easy. But this is you walking up to me in 6 months' time saying this. Chris, I got to tell you, walking up to you right now, I want to tell you this. I didn't make as much money as I usually do, but I was really proud of the way I handled the career. Proud of how I dealt with the situation. I was really proud how I dealt with the adversity. I was proud with how I dealt with the struggle. I was proud with how I dealt with the pain for you to feel that way. Focusing on complaining about, bitching about things that you can't control. That's number one. And two, focusing on carrying on about things that you will not change. Now, I'm not saying change. Charlotte, you look like I cut out. Did I cut out? Am I still there? You're back. All right, cool. All right, I'm still good. All right, just cool. Here's the thing. 2 things will stop you. Number one, focusing on, complaining about, carrying on about things you can't control. There are things right now we can't control. We know that, right? And that's the thing that frustrates us to no end. It's like, I got to tell you this. I used to think to myself, what could possibly stop my business? I mean, what could stop? I'm doing 170 gigs a year. Last year, 176 gigs, and I think to myself, what could possibly stop my? If am I coming through? That cut? Can you guys hear me at the top?
I don't know if it's just me, but you kind of go a bit static. Is it just me or is it? Yeah, so I think there's a little bit of interruption on your line, Chris.
Okay, all right.
It came up with the thing saying that your bandwidth was low or something along those lines, and then you started cutting in and out.
Thanks, Christine. All right. Are we getting a bit better?
That's better.
I might just quickly pause and I'll come back and I'll reload it up. Is that better now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk now for a minute.
I'll tell you what, let's pause. I'll quickly load it back up and come back to you.
You're good now, though. You're good now if you want.
Okay, good. All right. Here we go. 2 things are going to stop us. 2 things are going to stop us. Number one, focusing on things we can't control. And as I was just saying, and I'm not sure what you got or missed out of that, but it just, no, it's no good. I'm going to come out.
Do you want to jump off and jump back in? I'll pause it for a second.
Jump back and jump up in this industry that helps people. Now's the time to talk to people. Now's the time to communicate and actually get to know people on all these different levels. All right, here we go. Number 6. All right, here we go. Number 6, perfection. Here we go. Number 6. Boom. Perfection gets in the way. Now, what do I mean by this? Because all the things we're talking about, it would be very easy for people to go, all right, Chris, I heard what you said about all those circles of influence. And actually right now, I feel like I'm a pretty crap dad. Or I've been a pretty bad mom right now, or I'm so busy working and I'm stressed about work. And you know what? I'm actually not being a good enough parent, and I'm not doing a good enough job at work, and I've gained 5 kilos since we've been in isolation because I'm sitting around just eating food. I'm eating food, and now I'm feeling bad about myself. Here we go, ready? It's so easy to look at all those different things and actually think, is Chris saying that we need to be perfect about all those 6 things? And the answer is absolutely not. And number 6, perfection gets in the way of an outstanding life. And I'll say that again, number 6 is perfection gets in the way of an outstanding life. Do not try to be perfect. It's not about perfect. It's actually the opposite. You know what? We're so inundated with all these messages of how we're supposed to be perfect. I see all these real estate speakers, and by the way, I've spoken at Eric, and I think it was 2 years ago maybe when I spoke there, and I think there was one speaker got up and he's like, 5:30 club, you gotta get up at 5:30 every day. Like the next speaker got up, was like, 5 a.m., you gotta get up at 5 a.m. And then like, I guess the woman who went next, she had no choice. She's like, 4:30, I get up every day at 4. Like, you know what? I mean, by the way, if you ever get a chance to speak at Eric, what I would do, I recommend getting up there and going, because nobody wants to get up at 4:30, right? Like 2 people do. Like, this is it. And you know what? Most of the fact, if you ever get a chance to speak at Eric, here's what you do. Just go, I rock in the office about 11:15. I work till about 3. I work sort of 4 days a week, and I make $5 million a year. And watch, boom, every notepad in the place will come out. Like, people taking notes. That's what they want. Nobody wants to get up at 4:30, right? That's it. Show me how to do it in 4 hours, 4 days a week. Oh, that's what we want. But, you know, in all seriousness, I look at this and go, we're hit with how we're supposed to be doing everything perfect. And I just talked about routine. And I talked about process. I talked about creating a life with goals and creating a life around those areas. But here's what's most important. Don't create that life for anybody else except for you. And you've got to do it in the way you want to do it. It's not fair right now, right? We all think we have to be Ryan Gosling or Blake Lively, and we're competing against Airbrush. And not just women, men too, by the way. Have you seen the cover of Men's Health magazine? Right? I don't know where you get abs like that. That's ridiculous, right? And you know what? It's not fair. And so here's my message. Don't try to be perfect with it. Try to design a life for excellence. Try to design a life for excellence and be forgiving. It's the best time in the history of the world to be you. And you don't have to be anything other than be yourself, because this is your time. By the way, I want to say this, and I can see people here. I can see all these amazing people. And I'm flicking through now so I can even see more faces, right? Some of you just got your names up there. You're on up. Some of you, you know, but here's the thing. You look good today, man. That's a useful belief. In fact, I can prove this right now. I can take a photograph of you right now. And I can show you that photo in 10 years' time. And in 10 years' time, you're going to look at that photo and go, wow, I look good, right? So being that you're going to feel that way about your face today eventually, you might as well go with that as a useful belief. You look good today, right? This is the best time in the history of the world to be you. Right? Opportunities everywhere. Opportunities everywhere. You know, I did have a chance, and I've never forgotten this. But 2 years ago, I had a chance to speak in Las Vegas at the Cosmopolitan Hotel. And I had a chance to do something called the T20 Summit. And the T20 Summit was the top 20 real estate agents in the U.S. today. Right? And let me say a couple things. First of all, there were a few egos in that room. Let me say that. Second of all, let me say this. I walked in, I'll just never forget this guy. And it just came through on my Facebook the other day about this guy and how he has the #2 team in the entire nation. But anyway, I walked in the room and this guy stood up, and he was an older gentleman, right? He stood up. He goes, Chris Helder's here. He goes, Chris, I read your book. He goes, life begins at 70. That's what you said in your book. Right? And you know, anyway, he led me out into the hallway. He goes, I want to introduce myself. He said, my name's Robert Slack. Now, by the way, I meet a lot of people. I've never met a person whose last name, Slack, was less definitive of his personality than Mr. Robert Slack. He said, Chris Elder, my name's Robert Slack. I'm 74 years old. 74 years old. I want you to guess how old I was when I started my real estate business. Go on, Chris. I want you to guess. Come on, son. I want you to guess. Go on now. I want you to guess. And I said, Robert, I said, I think you were 40 years old when you started your business. He goes, I was not, Chris Elder. He goes, I was, in fact, 70 years old. 70 years old, I've never been in real estate before in my life. In my life, I have 110 people working underneath me in 4 years. He goes, I'm sitting in the room with the top 20 realtors in these United States, in these Americas. And here's the thing you need to understand, Chris Elder. This is what you need to understand. He said, I sell Florida. He took the whole damn state. I sell Florida, he said. You know what? Life begins at 70. This was this guy, you know, and he's out there now, 75. He's like, he's unbelievable. You know what? When we start thinking about this, life begins at insert age. If you're 70 years old right now, congratulations. Make sure you stay inside. Life begins at 70 years old. Life begins at 44. If you're 44, by the way, life begins at 44. Congratulations. It's the best time in the history of the world to be 44. Man, 44 looks like 28 used to. This is a good time to be 44. Life begins at 22. That's a good thing, by the way. This is the best time in the history of the world to be 22. Actually, just on that, this is the best time in the history of the world to be insert situation, right? Whatever your situation is. If you're single right now, it's a fantastic time to be single in the history of the world. It's got to be, right? Especially once we come out to the other side of this. I mean, if you're a single person, you get to spend all this time by yourself in isolation. This has got to be the greatest thing in the whole world. Like, this is the best time in the history of the world to be a single parent. I mean, right now, there's parents listening to this, right? There's parents listening to this who are like, what? They actually get, normally, in normal life, they get like every other weekend to do whatever the hell they want. And then the other weekend, they get their kids. Like, that's awesome. I wish I could do that. But right, there's people listening to that. Right now, it's the best time in the history of the world to be a single parent. Best time in the history of the world to be in a relationship if you're all locked up in a relationship. This is so good. Best time to be in isolation when you're in your beautiful relationship and you're all in love. You know what? Whatever your situation is, right? We start thinking about having useful beliefs about wherever we are. And you know what? Don't try to be perfect. Don't be perfect, be excellent, be good, be great, right? Be productive, be effective. Enjoy it. This is our time. No one's going to care. In 100 years, we're a paragraph on Ancestry.com, right? And nobody wants it to read. You know, here lies Rebecca. She's stressed out most days about things that were completely unimportant. She spent most days freaking out about whether or not the kids would be able to find dinner, right? You know what? At the same time while she worked. You know what? It's the best time in the history of the world. This is our time. And you know, an interesting thing about this struggle that we're going through right now, and I think this is a really important thing to say. When we come out the other side, and I could take a look at all these people. I'm flicking through it right now. Flick through, I can see all these people, all these amazing names. All right, and I'm flicking through it right now. And if I asked you right now to write down what are the 5 things you're most proud of in your life? It'd be amazing, actually, and we would collectively have an incredible list of those things. And if we read them all one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other, you know what would be so amazing about that list? Not one thing on that list would have been easy. Every single thing we truly are proud of in our life was challenging. It was hard. Everything that we're truly proud of in our life was hard, right? And I say that in a way of empowerment, right? When we get through this, how you get through this could well be one of the 5 things you're most proud of in your life. How I got through, how I got my family through, how I built my real estate business, how I spent time disciplined, how I spent time working the process, how I spent time redesigning a business for me. You know, I think this is going to be so cool. I mean, look, Charlotte, I've been in a black t-shirt now for about 5 years. And, you know, I got to a place, I was like, man, I'm not wearing a suit anymore. Like, I'm just like, nah, like, you know, and actually all the studies say this, right? Like young people, the last thing they want is like, you know, like a white dude in a suit. That's like the lowest rated person people want to listen to in the whole world. Like you look at all the studies of women, the worst person you could possibly be is a white dude in a suit, right? That's it. And, you know, we start thinking about, well, my ability to stay contemporary, my ability to stay relevant, you know, and being able to have a brand that works. I mean, look at us dressed. We're dressed, look how casually everybody's dressed. There are certain things that are never going to come back, right? There are certain things that it's just going to be about being comfortable with you and having a brand that works for you. And it's not about perfection. No one gives a shit about your tie, right? Nobody cares about, and there's nothing worse, by the way, than a dude in a really bad suit. If you're still putting pens in your pocket, that's great if you're the head of maintenance at Monash, right? But not so good if you're a real estate agent. No pockets in your suit, shirt, that's it, right? Have a shirt with no pockets, right? This is it. But we start thinking about, if you're gonna have a brand, right, have it be something that is absolutely authentic with you, which leads me to number 7, and writing this down. Here we go. Here's the words I want you to think about. There are 4. As you look at this year, and you look at how you're going to attack this year, they are these: certainty, simplicity, authenticity, knowledge. Certainty, simplicity, authenticity, and knowledge. Now, again, let's take a look at what we're talking about. Certainty. Number 1, have a certain message that you are sending to the marketplace, whether they are landlords, tenants, vendors, or buyers and coworkers. By the way, if you are a manager of people right now, your job is to inspire people, and you inspire people with certainty. So as a leader, lead from the front with certainty. What is your messaging that you're going to send, and be consistent with your certain message? Number 2, simplicity. Hang on. Do not overcomplicate the message. This is a very simple message. It's a very simple message that needs to be repeated with phenomenal amounts of energy and passion every day. Certainty and simplicity. By the way, that's the key to selling right there. Certain and simple. Bang. I can't tell you how many real estate agents overcomplicate the message and I have no idea how to be certain, right? Certainty, simplicity. There's no question about it. Actually, what I think I'm really good at is taking complicated things and make them easy to understand. That's what I think I'm really good at. That's a good thing to be good at, by the way. You should be good at the same thing. Certainty and simplicity. That's it. Number 3, authenticity. And that goes back to being real. This is the time to be real. This is the time to be vulnerable. This is the time to be down to earth, right? And I have met so many agents with egos, and I get it, and you're so excited, and I've had all these agents show me their videos over the years, like, Chris, have a look at my new promo video. And it's them like pulling the Porsche up. Right there they are doing the auction. That's a 50 I've been over to get it now. Sold, sold, sold. Tina Turner's like pumping it in the background going, you're simply the best. Right, that's it. And there's the video going pow, 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 pow. No one wants that anymore. We don't want that anymore, right? No one wants this sort of flashbulb, fake, right? It's authenticity. Be real. Be real, all right? You take a look at the speakers you like it at the moment, they're real. Nobody wants some speaker to get up there and brag and pound their chest and tell you how great they are. How long can you listen to that, right? The great speakers, by the way, talk about the world. They talk about the world and how you fit into it and throw out ideas that apply to what you want to do, right? They don't talk about themselves. They talk about you. They talk about how it is that you can take some of these ideas. And I always look at things as, you know, we're throwing spaghetti up on a fridge. Whatever sticks, take it. Whatever falls to the floor, let it go. But if we start thinking about authenticity, be real, be authentic, talk to people, be vulnerable. There's nothing wrong with saying, yeah, no, we're down. We're not selling houses right now. That's okay, right? Or nothing wrong with how we're going to message that, right? Be vulnerable, and that's why there's going to be so many great opportunities over the next 6 months to get into the marketplace, right? Or again, this is an opportunity to buy and sell in a different marketplace. This is an opportunity where there's going to be a lot of properties that are going to come on the market. Again, we can think about how that message goes, but be real, be vulnerable. And the last one is knowledge. There is no escaping knowledge. You either know what you're talking about or you don't. And again, in a real estate environment right now, your job is to know things. But this might be a time to know more than just real estate. This might be a time for you to get to know architecture. that when you come back after coronavirus and you're doing all the different things, you actually know about houses. Maybe it's a time for you to absolutely learn about different building styles. This is a chance to learn about art, learn about what you like, you know, especially some of the younger ages that are listening right now. This is a chance for you to learn about the things when you walk through a house, to comment. That's gardens. You should know the different kinds of plants. You should be able to compliment a garden. You should be able to compliment art. You should be able to talk about the schools that are in your area. You should know a little bit about those things, right? So knowledge, there is no substitute for knowledge, right? You're either good or you're not, right? There is no substitute for competence. Be competent, right? And this is a great time to skill up, right? Skill up about all the different things that people want to talk about in real estate. They want to talk about their garden. My wife's a landscape designer. My wife's a landscape designer. I can tell you what, if you don't know about gardens, you have no chance. If you don't compliment her garden and tell her how wonderful she is, you got no chance of getting my listing. Even if I like you, I don't care. I'm not the ultimate decision maker, right? Again, we start to think about what are the things you want to learn about? What are the things you need to learn about to even be more proficient? And actually just think about your office. Think about the people that are in your office. Think about the people you know in this industry. What do they know that you don't know? And really ask yourself, what do I need to learn about? Well, that's going to be different for every kind of person here. But certainty, simplicity, authenticity, and knowledge, right? Just to guide you as you sort of go through this time. And we take a look at all these different areas. We talked about a lot of things here. And Charlotte, I'm more than happy if and I'll just have a look here so I get my chat box up. Be authentic, people want that. That's awesome. Thanks, Aldo. Good stuff. If anyone has any questions, fire up a question now. I think we've got just a couple minutes to go. But just really 7 things really in my talk today that for all of us to think about with all the things I talk about. Obviously, I try to put different videos online, different things. So if you're interested in any of the ideas, first of all, join me on Instagram. I try to that's probably where I put the most stuff up and different videos at Chris Helder. I put a lot on LinkedIn as well. So join me on LinkedIn or Facebook and try to put some of those fun videos sort of up and different things right now. At the website, first 10 people to send through. Penny, you haven't checked it yet. You haven't checked it. She's watching. It's weird because she's watching me. I can watch her watch me. It's over here. It's bizarre. But you know what? With that, Penny, first 10 emails, we're going to send you out a book, which would be great. And we'll sign that book, which would be great. I did a TED Talk on useful belief last year, which was one of the highlights of 2019 for me, because you don't often get a chance to do a TED Talk on an idea, and they had me do the TED Talk on useful belief, which is cool. That TED Talk is available. It was 12 minutes? 12 minutes. 12 minutes, so that's on my website at chrishelder.com as well. All the books, videos, stuff. All right, cool. All that. So obviously all there to help you guys through this time. And, obviously it is, through this challenge that we're all in together. All the different ideas today. Number one, you're going to get bad news. We're going to have bad news, and bad news, if we panic with the bad news, we go to chaos thinking. Instead, idea number 1 was useful response. Bad news, be conscious. Think about how you're responding. Have a useful response out there. We talked about the brain being open. This is the best time. Start to think about identifying opportunities, talking to as many people, creating a process, creating a pattern. We talked about FOR, right? And conversation. Start to fill in the blanks around people's family, their occupation. We started to talk a little bit about, going and understanding what they do to relax and what they do in their free time, FOR. Idea number 4 today was the circles of influence, and really starting to think about all those different circles from work through to family, through to friends, through to me time and health and community, and really making a bit of a plan for all those different areas for us to think about. We talked today, obviously, about not needing everything to be perfect and not having it have to be perfect every step of the way. And, perfection gets in the way of an outstanding life. And no guilt, by the way. I know we're trying to be perfect all the time, but don't have guilt. Guilt's not helping anybody. One of the things I talk about is 10 seconds of guilt, move on, and not focused on feeling bad, right? You make a mistake, you make a mistake. 10 seconds of guilt, exit, right? That's it. Nothing's perfect. And, you know, I think it's, you know, we're so mean to ourselves, and we, you know, we do get after ourselves all the time. We talk about certainty, simplicity, authenticity, and knowledge, right? Driving us, be real, and, you know, really being in a position that we're there. Obviously, again, open any comments or questions people want to have. You can send me a private message as well. More than happy to get that from the email. Charlotte, do we turn it over? Does anyone want to ask a question out loud, or is there any comments or total and complete abuse? I'm happy for anything here.
Does anyone have any questions of Chris? There is one thing, if anyone's thinking about it, but the one thing that I got out of it at the start was to get on the phone, make the most of it. Now's not the time to sit and be a victim to this. Now's the time to get up and do something and actually plan for the future, which is what Tom Panos was saying as well, that you got to make the most of this time.
Well, and Tom's great. And, you know, Tom and I, you know, I think we see things quite similarly in terms of how we go through that. So, yeah, cool. Anything else that we want to cover off on? I'm getting awesome messages now. Yeah, is that a question there? You're on, Darren? No?
Pardon me?
Did you have a question, Darren?
Oh, no, I was just reading the someone else's comment.
Okay, you popped on my screen.
Okay.
So that's all good. Well, if there's nothing there, feel free to comment and feel free to send me a message. But as always, guys, I love, you know, being a part of Stockton Lego and what you guys do. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, I've probably done 15 presentations over the years for you guys at different times. And so it's great to see familiar faces up there. Christine's up there. And, you know, hi, good to see. And it's always good to see everyone. So thanks for having me be part of the Stockton Lego family, and really good to see everyone. Wishing everybody health and well-being through this time. So my name is Chris Elder, and I thank you very much for your time today. Cheers.
Thank you so much,
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Hey, this is the bit I miss. I miss all. Yeah, I miss the applause. That's the bit that I miss. I've just figured it out. That's it. Thanks, guys. Be well.
Hey, man. Bye.
Thanks so much, Chris.
Bye.